Numbers chapter 27, the inheritance of daughters. Then the daughters of Zelophehad came forward. Zelophehad was the son of Hephra, son of Gilead, son of Machir, son of Manasseh. He belonged to the clans of Manasseh, son of Joseph. These are the names of his daughters: Mahlah, Noah, Hoglah, Milcah, and Tirzah. They stood before Moses, before Eleazar the priest, and before the leaders and the whole community at the entrance to the tent of meeting, and said, Our father died in the desert. He was not among the followers of Korah who rebelled against the Lord, but he died for his own sin and did not leave any sons. Why must our father's name disappear from among his clan? Since he had no son, give us some property among our father's relatives. Moses took their case before the Lord, and the Lord spoke to Moses. He said, The sons of Zelophehad have a just case. Give them property for their inheritance among their father's relatives. Pass on to them their father's inheritance. Then say this to the people of Israel: If a man dies without leaving sons, his inheritance is to be given to his daughter. If he has no daughters, the inheritance is to go to his brothers. If he has no brothers, it is to go to his father's brothers. If the father has no brothers, it is to go to the member of his clan who is most closely related. He is to hold it as his own property. This shall be a statutory norm for the people of Israel, as the Lord has commanded Moses. Joshua appointed to succeed Moses. The Lord said to Moses, Climb this mountain of the Abarim range and look on the land I have given to the people of Israel. After you have seen it, you will be gathered to your fathers as Aaron your brother was. For you both rebelled against my command in the desert of Zin, when the community challenged me, when I commanded you to proclaim my holiness before their eyes by means of the water. These are the waters of Meribah of Kadesh in the desert of Zin. Moses said to the Lord, May the Lord God of the spirits that give life to all living creatures appoint a leader for these communities to be at their head as they go out and come in, who shall lead them out and bring them in, so that the community of the Lord may not be like sheep without a shepherd. The Lord said to Moses, Take Joshua, son of Nun, a man in whom the Spirit dwells, and lay your hands on him. Then make him stand before Eleazar the priest and the whole community, and commission him in their presence. Give him a share of your authority, so that the whole community of the people of Israel may obey him. He must appear before Eleazar the priest, who shall consult the Lord for him and obtain decision by means of the Urim. His word will direct Joshua and all the people of Israel, the whole community, in all their affairs. Moses did as the Lord had commanded. He took Joshua and presented him before Eleazar the priest and the whole community. He laid his hand on him and authorized him as the Lord had directed through Moses. Numbers chapter 28. Daily sacrifices. The Lord spoke to Moses and said, Give the sons of Israel this command: Take care to bring me the food offerings, my offerings by fire, whose sweet aroma appeases me at the times I have appointed. Say to them, This is the offering by fire you must offer to the Lord every day: 2 one-year-old lambs without any defect as a perpetual holocaust. The first lamb you must offer in the morning, and the second between dusk and dawn, together with a grain offering of 1/10 of an ephah of fine flour, mixed with 1/4 of hin of oil of crushed olive. Such was the perpetual holocaust, whose sweet aroma appeased the Lord on Mount Sinai, made as an offering by fire to the Lord. The accompanying wine offering to be poured out in the sanctuary is 1/4 of a hin of fermented drink for each lamb. The second lamb you must offer between dusk and dawn. Do this in the same way as the morning offering, together with the wine offering, an offering of fire, whose sweet aroma appeases the Lord. Sabbath sacrifices. On the Sabbath day you must offer 2 one-year-old lambs without any defect, or 2/10 of an ephah of fine flour as a grain offering mixed with oil, as well as the accompanying wine offering. This holocaust is to be offered every Sabbath in addition to the daily offering with its accompanying wine offering. Monthly sacrifices. At the beginning of each of your months, you must offer a holocaust to the Lord: 2 young bulls, 1 ram, and 7-year-old lambs without any defect. For each bull, a grain offering of 3/10 of an ephah of fine flour mixed with oil. For each ram, a grain offering of 2/10 of fine flour mixed with oil. For each lamb, 1/10 of fine flour mixed with oil. It is a holocaust and offering by fire, whose sweet aroma appeases the Lord. The accompanying wine offering is half a hin of wine for a bull, 1/3 of a hin for a ram, 1/4 of a hin for a lamb. This must be the monthly holocaust, month after month, every month of the year. In addition to the daily holocaust with its accompanying wine offering, a male goat must be offered to the Lord as a sin offering. The Passover. The 14th day of the first month is the Passover of the Lord, and the 15th day of this month is a feast day. For 7 days unleavened bread must be eaten. On the first day there shall be a sacred assembly. You shall not engage yourselves in hard work. You shall offer to the Lord a holocaust: 2 young bulls, a ram, and 7-year-old sheep without any defect. The accompanying grain offering of the flour mixed with oil is to be 3/10 of an ephah for the bull, 2/10 for the ram, and 1/10 for each of the 7 lambs. There must also be a hairy he-goat for a sacrifice for sin to make atonement for you. This must be done in addition to the daily morning holocaust. You must do this every day for 7 days. It is food and offering by fire, whose sweet aroma appeases the Lord. It is to be offered in addition to the daily holocaust and its offering, wine accompanying or wine offering. On the 7th day you shall hold a sacred assembly. You shall not engage yourselves in heavy work. Feast of Weeks. On the day of the first fruits, when you make your offering of new fruits to the Lord at your Feast of Weeks, you are to hold a sacred assembly. You shall not engage yourselves in heavy work. You must offer as a holocaust, as a sweet aroma that appeases the Lord, 2 young bulls, 1 ram, and 7-year-old lambs. The accompanying grain offering of fine flour with oil is to be 3/10 of an ephah of each bull, 2/10 for the ram, and 1/10 for each of the 7 lambs. There must also be a hairy he-goat to be offered as a sacrifice for sin, to make atonement for you. This must be done in addition to the daily holocaust and its accompanying grain offering. They must be without blemish along with their wine offerings. Psalm chapter 66. Thanksgiving after a struggle. Shout with joy to God, all you earth. Sing to the glory of his name. Proclaim his glorious praise. Say to God, how great are your deeds. How formidable is your power that makes your enemies cringe before you. All the earth bows down to you, making music in praise of you, singing in honor of your name. Come and see what God has done, the great things he has done for his people. He has turned the sea into dry land, and they passed through the river on foot. Let us therefore rejoice in him. He rules forever by his might, his eyes keeping watch on the peoples, his arm holding the rebels in check. Praise our God, O nations. Let the sound of his praise be heard. For he has preserved us among the living and kept our feet from stumbling. You have tested us, O God. You have refined us like silver. You let us fall into the snare. You laid heavy burdens on our back. You allowed the wicked to rule over us. We have gone through fire and water, but you have brought us to safety at last. I will bring offerings to your house in fulfillment of the vows I uttered and the promises I made when I sailed with troubles. I will offer holocausts of fatlings, sending up smoke of burning rams and a sacrifice of goats and bulls. All you who fear God, come and listen. Let me tell you what he has done for me. I cried aloud to him, extolling him with my tongue. If I had nurtured wickedness in my heart, then the Lord would not have listened. But God has listened and has given heed to my prayer. May God be blessed. He has not rejected my prayer, nor withheld his love from me. Mark chapter 10, verse 32 to 52. Jesus again predicts his death. They were on the road going up to Jerusalem, and Jesus was walking on ahead of them. The 12 were worried and anxious, and those who followed were afraid. Once more Jesus took the 12 aside to tell them what was to happen to him. You see, we are going up to Jerusalem, and the Son of Man will be handed over to the chief priests and the teachers of the law. They will condemn him to death and hand him over to the foreigners, who will make fun of him, spit on him, scourge him, and finally kill him. But 3 days later he will rise again. James and John asked for the first places. James and John, the sons of Zebedee, came to Jesus and said to him, Master, we have a favor to ask of you. And he said, What do you want me to do for you? They answered, Grant us to sit, one at your right and one at your left, when you come into your glory. But Jesus said to them, You do not know what you are asking. Can you drink the cup that I drink, or receive the baptism that I am to receive? They answered, We can. And Jesus told them, The cup that I drink you will drink, and you will be baptized in the way I am baptized. But to sit on my right or at my left is not mine to grant. It is for those for whom it has been assigned. On hearing this, the other 10 were angry with James and John. Jesus then called them to him and said, As you know, the so-called rulers of the nations lord it over them, and their great ones oppress them. But it shall not be so among you. Whoever would be great among you must be your servant, and whoever would be first among you shall make himself slave of all. For the Son of Man has come not to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many. The blind man of Jericho. They came to Jericho, and as Jesus was leaving Jericho with his disciples, a large crowd, a blind beggar, Bartimaeus, the son of Timaeus, was sitting by the roadside. On hearing that it was Jesus of Nazareth passing by, he began to call out, Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me. People scolded him and told him to keep quiet, but he shouted all the louder, Son of David, have mercy on me. Jesus stopped and said, Call him. So they called the blind man, saying, Take heart, get up, he is calling you. He immediately threw aside his cloak, jumped up, and went to Jesus. Then Jesus asked him, What do you want me to do for you? The blind man said, Master, let me see again. And Jesus said to him, Go your way, your faith has made you well. And immediately he could see, and he followed Jesus along the road.